Yo.
Hey, Voodoo King Alvin D, man.
Derek Boldin in the house, bro.
Hey, man, what's up, bro?
Oh, nothing, man. We about to, you know what I'm saying, embark upon an amazing journey today. You know what I'm saying? Our goal is always, man, to spark thought. We never like,
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Trying to sway people one way or another.
We ain't trying to convert you.
Right. I think that certain things, like, I like these things, these opportunities to, like, really talk about a lot of controversial topics and things like that that really, you know, kind of affect people, bro. In one way or another, you know.
Right.
I think, like, one of the things that I think is important is that, you know, we, as a people, that we grow and that we, like, kind of get out of this, you know, rigid way of kind of boxing ourselves in terms of the way we think and in terms of how we live.
Right.
Like, the world's a big place, bro, and there's so many different ways of doing a lot of things.
Yes, man. It's natural. I mean, so many different natural ways, and what we finding out, man, that a lot of that stuff gets suppressed, man.
Yeah.
And they get boxed in, and they get controlled, and that's what really just drives people like over the edge with you know what I'm saying, and with my perspective. He's like, you just can't box in humanity, bro.
Right.
Nature's gonna be nature, man. So hopefully we can help people out, you know what I'm saying, with just, you know, provoking thought. You know what I'm saying?
Provoking thought, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Exactly.
Provoking thought, man. Just getting people to discuss topics that, you know, have been kind of taboo.
Yeah.
You know, in a way. Like, we really haven't been exploring, like, all of the different options and all of the different, you know, perspectives from all over the world. You know what I'm saying? We're in the West, and, you know, we tend to think, you know, based on where we're from. And I think it's amazing, like, when you meet people from all over the world, man, how they view life so differently than we do over here, bro. It's crazy.
So what is that though, bro? Because that's something. It's the reason why they viewing life a different way and seeing the same thing that we're living in our existence different.
Right.
It's something to that, and you know what I'm saying? I pretty much know what it is it's culture.
Yeah.
It's culture and its philosophies and principles that you put amongst your community to live by, and you know what I'm saying, and people grow up with these ways, you know what I mean?
Like, and is it fair for me, if I have a way that works for me, is it fair for me to, like, impose my perspective on another individual in their culture in terms of the way that they live? Is it right for me to say, because I live this way, the way that you live is wrong?
And see, that's a good question, but the thing is, no. But if you got some type of power to the point where you can make these things laws and, you know what I'm saying, this is the way to live and things like that, now I think you're affecting the individual person. Now, everybody got to have the option, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, to choose what avenue they want to go down and live based on their soul signature, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good question, but as for the masses, you know what I'm saying, that's bad, bro. That's really bad, bro.
So, you know, it's like, at the end of the day, you got to do what works for you.
Right.
Right? So what works for you might not necessarily work for somebody else.
Exactly, man.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it's important that we, you know, give people the right, or allow people to exercise their right to do what works for them in their personal life, as opposed to trying to control another person's way of living. And I think that's one of the things that, you know, even here in this country, that it's a common thing for us to say, because of what I'm doing, you know, what you're doing is not right, or what you're doing is wrong. There are different ways, like math, bro. Simple math. There are different ways to come to the same answer.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And when you look in the world, look at all of this diversity in the world, bro. Like, even in terms of, like, relationships, there's so many different types of relationships and family structures in nature. You know, some animals have life partners, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just them. They're in a completely monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
Some animals are life partners, and if you compare those types of animals to all the animals in the world, it's only a handful of animals that actually have monogamous relationships throughout the course of their lives.
Yeah. See, with me, I think it's unfair to compare any individual situation to any other situation, because each one of them are different. You know what I'm saying? Now, each one of those things, each situation, relationship, an animal, human being, anything, it has a basis to it that we all can relate to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's this male and female mating for a child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as far as like their personal relationship or their personal sexual orientation as a human being, I feel like, man, we too nosy with that type of stuff, man. And then each person has to be allowed to go live the life that they really want to live, bro.
Right.
It's like, see, in this country, bro, they tell you this is the American dream.
Okay.
So they pretty much giving you an idea on what they want you to live out. And that way, that's dangerous, bro. So now people know how we thinking. They know how to play us, man. So it's just so many ways that stuff is wrong, D, bro.
Right.
So many ways, bro. And I got a problem with the natural thing, with them taking away the naturalness of life.
I understand, man. That's,
Word up.
wow, man. So, is it fair? Like, do you think we'll ever get to a point like where we are there in terms of like accepting all of the different varieties of relationships as other people's just way of living? Like, do you ever think we'll get to a point, or we even should get to a point, where we're starting to rethink relationships? Because, you know, what I hear from a lot of people is, like, for the women, I hear about a scarcity of men.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we already know that women outnumber men in this country.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a sensitive topic for a lot of people, man. Because
Yeah.
if they're, okay, for example, I was actually listening to this professor. He was talking about this. And what he said was, if you match every woman with every man in this country, you still have about 5 million women that are kind of left.
That's crazy.
Left in the open. You feel me?
Oh.
So what do we do with those like 5 million women that are kind of left hanging? Like what's the solution to something like that? Because when you look in the past, in history, they had answers for stuff like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily a monogamous relationship that was the answer to that problem.
Yeah.
And this is where we kind of learn more about polygamous or polygynous relationships.
Yeah.
And their function. Because you know, a lot of people look at it as like a man's way of kind of having his way.
See, that's the thing, Najee. See, that's the point right there. Is in America, it deal with labels, bro.
Right.
And now we live in a perverted society. Like we got sex on the brain in America, bro.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing without it being some type of sexual motivation behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if a man got 5 women, or if a woman got 5 men, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna get looked at different. This guy gonna get looked at as a player, and this woman gonna get looked at as a whore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But nobody knows the true essence of that, or why those people are together.
Right.
Nobody knows the true relationships of them people. So it can happen, D. But in the type of society we live in right now, bro, it's like that's gonna be impossible right now, bro. Because right now America is like regurgitating itself right now. You know what I'm saying? Based off all the shit that they already had in place, and so we got riots, we got protests, we got all this type of stuff. And this is the information age, so we get a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? But people really don't know how to like live it out and apply it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think with like being in a polygamous relationship or anything like that, it can naturally happen, it can naturally work. Right. But if you got people actually pointing a finger and saying this and that and whooping and making people feel this way and the kids feeling the same way, because you gotta understand, the kids involved in the polygamous relationship, they're gonna be affected too.
Right.
Just through
the
neighborhood.
the social aspect of it, how
right.
are gonna view that relationship.
Exactly, bro.
And it's crazy that stuff like this was common, and it's still common in a lot of areas in this world. And there's a real true function to their relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for example, like I said, if there's usually from my studies, when you talk about polygamy, it usually was the result of a scarcity of capable men. You know, you can have men, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all of those men are actually qualified in terms of their ability to take care of a family, to raise a family and things like that.
Yeah, see, I like
what I'm
that.
saying? So that was one of the functions of a polygamous
Not
relationship.
to cut you off, but to that's more of a nature, because that reminds me of the jungle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For gorilla to be the male of that pride, to be the alpha male of that pride, you got to fight for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And see, that's how nature really like builds itself. And you know what I'm saying? With evolution, it's like the strongest gene is gonna win.
Right.
And so I'm saying, so in the jungle, man, it's like that. I like that though.
And it's crazy that in nature, the females, it's like they got it together, man. Like you don't see mistakes in selecting a mate from females in nature.
But now,
in
okay,
any species.
so now human beings, we got 12 steps to this. We got magazines for that.
Yeah.
They got people saying, this how to be a good woman, this how to be a good man, and whoop whoop. But in the jungle, in nature, it's none of that.
It's none of that.
And it flows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, but I say the American construct is a casket because even with the English language, bro, that it's like you putting labels and different things on these situations, and it's giving you these certain emotions.
Right.
So that's where expectations come from. You know what I'm saying? I feel like America is big on expectation because they know that it's going to be a lot of letdowns and things go on, bro. And it's so much money to be made off your psychological, you know what I'm saying, dysfunction. Right. If you failed at something, like you're an NFL player and it didn't work out, a lot of people killing themselves, man. But America don't talk about this. Even in relationships. You know what I'm saying? People, a woman, her husband will cheat on her, or a man finds his wife cheating, and they kill everybody or kill themselves. That's crazy, bro.
Right.
And I just feel like somebody must have lied. Somebody have lied to them and said this is not supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's just not natural, bro.
So what do you think about, like, do you think that we need to, as a people, do you think we need to challenge the function of monogamy?
Yes.
In terms of what it has produced for us so far? Because,
right.
Polygamy, and different forms of polygamy, there are a lot of different forms of polygamy. Polygamy has been around for a very long time, and throughout history we see that groups of people have actually come into, even in places like Africa where it was commonplace, and it had a real true function. You have people who are, labeled as pagans, and in being labeled as a pagan, when you were labeled as a pagan, whether it doesn't matter the religion, but basically everything that you believed and every way that you lived in your culture was demonized and considered wrong. So over the course of the years, we've actually had now we've been kind of put in this box where we only think that there's one type of relationship. And that's a monogamous relationship. Now, I will say this. We're not endorsing any form of relationship. What we're doing is we're bringing to light the many different types of relationships.
Provoking thought, man.
Because some people,
ideas.
For some people, they were made for monogamy.
They
were made for it. But I don't think those people who were made for monogamy should judge those who are not.
So how do we determine who's who and what's what?
I think at the end of the day, you gotta be true to yourself.
There we go.
And
there we go.
If you are not made for it, you should have no problem saying, I'm not made for that. And I think you should give a woman an opportunity to decide whether she wants to be a part of that or not.
Of course.
And I think that's fair.
And then it's like, it's more humane. Right. Because even if you the type of person looking for love, you don't want to politic your way into a heart.
Right.
You don't want to steal a heart. You know what I mean? I want to win you over. And that's a process itself. You know what I'm saying? And see, a lot of people don't want to go through the process, bro. Cause you understand, this is a microwave age, bro. People want everything instantly. You know what I'm saying? So people jump. I see guys jump straight, like they'll move out with a woman, and the next woman they get, you know what I'm saying? They move right in with them. I'm like, why would you move out with a woman, move in with a woman, instead of just going and being single and just like, you know what I'm saying, healing, that type of stuff.
Learning about yourself.
Right.
Learning about what works for you.
Right.
And just being honest with yourself. To let yourself be true.
Right.
And I actually do think that that's the best way to go, man, because what you don't want to do is, connect with somebody who doesn't want what y'all don't want the same thing. You know what I'm saying? A very important part of relationships is that when y'all get into it, both of y'all want the same thing. If somebody else have a different motive for being there.
See, that's big.
It's like, you know, that's not going to work. You can have fun for a little while, but I think eventually it kind of fades.
Yes, because it actually comes down to the two people. Like, you talking about relationship. Relationship is a relationship. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got to be here with each other, bro. Because like I always tell my wife, I say, babe, it's gonna be a turn. We gonna make that turn. So when we make a turn, we got to hold on to each other on that turn. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not gonna be just like linear and go straight like, because people got us thinking like time, and time don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? That's a man-made illusion. So people thinking everything go like this when it's not like that. Everything is as is. Everything is here and now. You know what I'm saying? So if you talking about love and relationship, with that person, you got to be the here and now. And you being here and now with that person is going to keep taking you to the nows and the moments in the future. I got you. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be relishing and be on top of your now with that person. You just loving that person right now. Yeah. Then everything else will take care of itself. But we gotta see in our culture, man. Everything is like book work. Yeah. It's like a student. Like if you want to go like have a good relationship, you got to go study to have a relationship. You have to read this book to have a good marriage. Or and I told my son that in football. I said we're not gonna do that. What about your passion? Yeah. What about your ambition? You know what I'm saying? What about your drive and your spirit for whatever you do? And that's what it is, man. So relationship got to have to be just that. Like we talked about Kobe and the greats. I mean, you gotta have a relationship with basketball to the point where that's your girlfriend. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you know what? You said something interesting too, man. Like, you know, when you try to understand these things through a book, you get a perspective from the writer. You know what I'm saying? However that writer felt about relationships, it's subjective. That's based on how that person feels and thinks.
Was he some nerd dude?
Right. You know, and I think, you know, in many cases, it's gonna take you actually experiencing relationships,
trial and error,
and finding out what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
Trial and error.
You know what I'm saying?
Experience the best teacher, man.
I think that's another important thing that people need to kind of like, you know, pay attention to.
Right.
And for the women out there, I already know what the question is. When we talk about things like polygamy and all the different forms of it, I think that like, you know, the question that's going to arise is like, what about a woman and multiple men? Right. And I'll say this: that's polyandry.
Yeah.
And that does exist. It has existed, you know, throughout history in some form or another. And the function of it is a little different, man. Like having multiple husbands. When I studied polyandry, I'm like, okay, so in places where resources were scarce, basically, you would have a woman, and mainly she would be married to multiple brothers.
Yeah.
And, you know, in that case, it was about not having a lot of children.
Yeah.
But still being protected.
Yeah.
And things like that or whatever. And it's crazy that in nature, bro, you have some animals that actually mate with multiple males, and all of those males think that they're the father. So
dolphins.
She has protection for herself, and she has extra protection for her children.
Dolphins.
Because of that, and I thought that was amazing. Actually,
dolphins do that, bro.
Look, you know, studying that type of thing.
Yeah.
But polyandry does exist. It also existed for women who wanted to improve their social status.
Yeah.
Let's just say if a woman was married to a guy and he was poor,
yeah,
and a guy from a higher class was willing to marry her, she had an opportunity to have a child with a guy who had more resources and could bring more money and basically improve their social and their financial situation.
But could it be true love in this situation with polygamy? Could like true love be amongst this, or is just like this is gonna be just like, do you see polygamy as like a business type thing? Do you think polygamy have the potential of having true love?
Actually, I think it's a little bit of both, because if we approach relationships like it was about business, I think we'd be a lot more honest with one another. It's kind of like you hiring somebody, bro. Like, so I think love is a part of that. I think when somebody is treated well, even if they weren't in love with somebody in the beginning, it's like in the case of arranged marriages. A lot of these people didn't even know each other
Yeah.
But over time, when you're taken care of, when all of your needs are met, when you know what I'm saying, when you're taken care of, eventually it's like, yeah, we built this bond together, and you know, love really became a factor, even in an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible to have a little bit of both.
I think it got to be a lot of freedoms to the point where just say if I got 5 wives, you know what I mean? Her having each one of them lovers, I wouldn't mind them having their own like lover, like side, like because we got to understand to the point where, okay, I feel like every human being want that special connection, like that special one-on-one thing. So if I got 5 wives and I'm showing all of them this love, and it's gonna be one that I'm truly like, that's the mom out the whole crew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like with that, bro, it's gonna be a little rough. But if you bring the business part in it and you can explain to everybody what's going on and everybody's with it, I think it's a way. But with true love actually being in that amongst everybody involved, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because somebody gonna miss out, bro. Somebody gonna miss out. It's 1 man, 5 women. Somebody gonna miss out. Even if you got kids from especially if you got kids from all these women.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? You spending time and doing what you need to do, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be missing somewhere in there, I feel, man.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
You know what? But it's like, okay, we can go back. Like let's go like Old Testament, right? And we're dealing with like somebody like Jacob, who he was in love with Rachel, but he was in love with Rachel, and he worked a certain number of years for, to marry her.
Yeah.
Right. Worked for her dad.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the arrangements
Yeah.
that existed. You know what I'm saying, among many. So he worked for the dad for a certain number of years so that he can marry Rachel. But Rachel was not his first born. Rachel wasn't the oldest of the two. So his dad gave him Leah, which was the older sister. She was less attractive and he wasn't in love with her. But he worked those certain number of years, and his dad said, okay, I got to get the oldest one. That's the one that got to go first.
Wow, bro.
Now you can say he would hustle a little bit, but he accepted her as his wife. So he worked another set of years in order to have the right to marry her sister, which is the one that he really wanted. All right? So he loved Rachel. He married Leah first. And it actually turned out that Leah was the one to bear him children. Back up to my often. Rachel kind of had a little trouble having kids. So it's kind of, he loved Rachel.
Now, a lot of the natural part left when they went to talking business.
Right, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got 5 women and it happened naturally to the point where, you know what I'm saying, organically, where these women are loving each other too, not to the point where they're lesbians or not, they just respect each other and they say, man, this our man.
Right.
Like, this our man, like, you know what I'm saying, that's the shit. Yeah. But as far as like some business type, I feel like it's always gonna crash somewhere, man. And something bad's gonna happen without it organically happening, bro, through nature.
Right.
Because if you like making these deals, like people making deals with humanity, bro, and then they tripping when the shit don't work out. And I know this shit don't work out because you didn't do it out of passion.
But here we go again. But that was their way of life.
We talking about now though. Now we
talking about now. Okay.
Now we talking about can that work now?
I honestly. Here in America, I'll put it like this, man. I was listening to Umar talk about this subject, and one of the things he pointed out was there are a lot of benefits, but in America today, our people are not necessarily think about it, bro. We've been living, we've been in this country for a very long time, and like other scholars would say, we were kind of raised in a different cultural womb than our ancestors. So I've actually had conversations with women about these types of things, and I've even heard them say, I understand the idea, I understand the function of a polygamous relationship, or a polygynous relationship, but being raised in America and conditioned to monogamy, that's not something that I do. I'm not sharing my man, period. But the crazy thing is some of them actually share their man.
They share it anyway.
They share their man anyway.
It happens on its own.
So, like example, you have your children's father, who you are not, you have a connection with. Y'all still do y'all thing.
Yeah.
And then he has another baby mama somewhere else, and these women know that he's sleeping with both of them. But when we're having a conversation about sharing a man, you disagree, but you're doing it.
They're not gonna admit it. They're not gonna admit it. Like a lot of things in this country, people do behind closed doors. See, America, America construct, it benefit from the black market, bro. They want to create a black market. Because anytime you want to create a black market, you suppress it, whatever it is.
Right.
Like drug, you suppress it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, sexual desire, you suppress that. You have people feeling shame and guilty for natural shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so people actually just go wild, bro, and it does it anyway. And the thing is, once this happens, they know it's gonna happen, they label you as a certain type of person.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's all about labels and different things in America to the point where, like, okay, your wife sleep with another man or your man sleep with another. People get so emotional and so crazy about it, they'll kill themselves or they mate.
Right.
Or even sometimes their whole family, bro.
Right.
Like, and that person just went and had, like, made love with another person. Yeah. That's a beautiful moment. I don't know what they got. I don't know what happened. A lot of shit ain't none of my business.
Right.
And like, bro, listen, I'm not killing myself. My wife cheat on me, bro.
So let me ask you, King, do you think that you can be in a polyandrous relationship?
Of course.
Like your wife got multiple?
Yes.
Okay.
You probably like that right now. I don't know. Okay. In my head, she got some dudes.
In your head, you're already in a polyandrous.
She already got another man in my head.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? See, the thing about it's infinite possibilities at the Voodoo King.
Right.
Infinite possibilities. So when that happen or if it do happen, I'm not shocked, bro.
Right.
I'm ready to like deal because that's how I look at life, bro. I know life is ups and downs, bro. Sideways, you're going at different angles, and it's shit gonna happen. So you can't let some natural life shit surprise you, bro.
Right.
Like you going to the beach and you tripping on waves and shit.
Okay.
Bro, you at the beach. The waves gonna be coming. You tripping on the wave keep splashing and shit. And you complaining like, bro, really? So that's life, man. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So with especially a beautiful woman, how you not know that you gotta share that beautiful woman? Just because it's more women than men, don't mean all the motherfucking women. Don't mean all of them got that woman, that womanly value, that mama nature. I mean, nurturing. And like all women don't have that, bro.
So yeah. So why do you think people like demonize those types of relationships? Especially, and here's the crazy part, especially religious people.
See, that's where it come from.
And so
that's where it come from, bro.
But religious people are like, okay, so when I read the Bible, honestly, and like I said, I'm not endorsing one over another. I just think that from reading, it's like there are a lot of prominent figures in the Bible, and there are a lot of even lesser figures in the Bible that had multiple wives.
Look at Solomon. How many wives Solomon had?
Solomon had like 700 wives.
700 wives, bro. That's a country. What would you 700 wives? Is that even possible, bro?
And what, 300 concubines?
Hold on, bro. Wait.
Go ahead.
Okay, see, I look at stuff real, like, when I went, like, in the Bible, a lot of stuff is metaphor.
Okay.
And in 700 wives, it gotta be like, he was like a mayor or something. Or some type of chief of a tribe or something like that, because, come on, bro.
And you know what? Think about this. Because you already know the first place people want to go is, they want to start talking about sex, right?
Yeah.
So, you think it's possible to please 700 women?
700. And like, how you gonna do that? Like, that's okay, just go. Come on now. Every day you gotta go and be with somebody else. Every day.
What?
Just to touch on everybody like that? So how you really gonna touch on and love all them women?
Right. But see, that goes back to the function of polygamy. The function of polygamy wasn't sex. And I think a lot of people don't understand that it's not about sex. Oftentimes, when people even got married, it was about inheritance. It was about, bearing children and actually being able to establish wealth through a big family.
Right.
So the purpose of polygamy, especially like if you were farming or if you had a business or something like that at that time, the bigger your family was a sign of your wealth.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel that.
And women, and think about this: you were also at a time where you're pretty much in a male-dominant situation, and once again, females have generally outnumbered males throughout history, even today. And from my research, I found that even in the countries that exist today, where the male population is more than the female population, that's usually due to basically killing female babies. So you have a program that looks to maintain a certain population of males and to reduce the population of females through abortions and things like that. You actually have countries who have had that as a practice, and that is one of the main justifications and one of the main reasons why there are more males than females. If you let things happen naturally, you're gonna always get more females than males.
So, okay, for the country or whatever government doing this shit, who gave you the right to do shit like that, to say, okay, we need population? And how do a person know that we need population control? Like, why would you just get to killing people? See, to me, motherfucker trying to play God. You trying to play God in situations like that, bro, it drives me crazy, bro, at my age right now, bro. Because who gave you the right to do that? And like, whoever the elites are, you're human beings. So who is you to say that we have to live this way or this best for us? You know what I'm saying?
I think like, let's just say like even places like China where they put a limit on the number of children you can have. Like China is already an overpopulated place. So they actually have government sanctions on the number of children you can have. That's, to me, in a way, I see kind of both sides.
And I do. And the thing is, I feel like nature has its own population control. Like, why wouldn't nature have its own, her population control? Why wouldn't it naturally be population control amongst the species, bro? Just naturally, bro.
Yeah, because I think the thing about human beings is that, going back to nature, like you said, it's one of the things that has changed for us is that there was a time when we took what we needed from the land, we took what we needed, and we didn't take more than that. And when you get groups of people that come in and their objective is to take what they need and take everybody else's stuff,
colonize.
That's when you start kind of creating problems.
See, that's colonization.
Right. Even when we were jits, bro, like, listen, we took stuff off people's mango tree.
Of course, man.
And all that, but we took what we needed.
Right.
And we ate it, and we were done. It wasn't like we stealing all of your mangoes off your tree. But when you're dealing with greed, those are the types of things that happen. And so now we have a battle for resources. So resources get scarce when you're dealing with people who are beginning to consume way more than they really should. And that's not necessarily a natural process because no animal does that. Exactly,
man. If the human species, we the ones that really destroy shit with our logic and with our fucking theories and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing these guys with this pseudoscience. They trying to conquer you trying to conquer nature. Like, why would a motherfucker want to know the God particle? Why? It's certain things.
So they can play God.
See, that's the thing. Like, you going too far.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're going too far with the knowing.
Right.
Because the thing about it is, certain people get certain information, but there's gonna be some diabolical shit happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got your Dr. Evils. You know what I'm saying? And you got your regular guys. See, with me having resources and having that type of power, I'm gonna distribute it.
Okay. I'm
gonna distribute it and have like kings and guys running shit. I'm not gonna be the main guy up top looking down on everybody. No. I'm gonna, okay, man, we're gonna do this the right way, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be trusted people that I know is gonna be there for the people, man. But like right now, what we got going on is dictatorship, man. I see capitalism as dictatorship, bro. It's just a bougie way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? You slick. Politics is slick dictatorship. You know what I'm saying?
So we talked about monogamy. You know, we talked about and like I said, we're gonna include the religious aspect of it too. Because like I said, even in the Quran, you know, a man can marry up to 4 wives. And the thing is, there were certain protections in that too. And I know about the women who are abused at times, and I think men have throughout history at times, not all, but I think men throughout history at times have abused that setup, you know, and things like that or whatever. Mm-hmm. But even in the Quran, bro, you were to treat your wife with respect and honor. Yeah. And that was a rule that was a part of that. Yeah. The same rule applies in the Bible with you know, with dealing with your wife, not dealing with your wife treacherously and things like that, abusing your woman and things like that or whatever. Right. So that type of relationship does exist in Christianity or in the Bible. And you know, and
but do Christianity practice like all of the religions that's in the Bible?
All of the marriage setups, the marriage arrangements?
Yeah, because like Christianity only portrays monogamy, bro.
True.
Not even same-sex marriage and none of that type of stuff. They only give you one view of this.
True.
You know what I'm saying? They frown on everything else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's been a theme, man. That's been a theme throughout history to demonize another person's culture and another person's way of life, and to superimpose your way of life and your culture or your beliefs onto a group of people who didn't know nothing about.
Now see, that's colonization, bro. See, now,
I can understand.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, that's what the crusade was about, right?
I think
either convert or die.
Convert or die, yeah. And it happened in both Christianity and Islam. Convert or die campaigns and things like that. Like you have to believe what I believe. And sometimes it's crazy because they would send their missionaries first to be your brother. To be your brothers and to learn things about you and your people, and to impose and try to impose some of those belief systems. And if they were rejected outright, then they send in the military and they're gonna do it with a sword.
So he's saying a missionary, you're pretty much a motherfucking spy. You're an agent. You're an agent, bro. Yeah. You're a motherfucking agent to a missionary, man. You're an agent, man. You know what I'm saying? You're a snitch.
True. You know, but those were the types of things that people did, and I have a problem with superimposing your particular belief system and way of life,
of course,
on people who've been practicing a certain way of life, of course, for eons.
Yeah.
Of course. You know, that I take issue with.
Of course.
Because life is diverse. There's so much diversity in the world, and we have to get back to function. What was the function of these people's culture and way of life? They did it because it worked for them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in the Bible, we had of course we had monogamy in the Bible. Yeah. Of course we had the man, wives, and concubine situation. Yeah. You had also a man could have a wife and also be married to her property, which was like a slave girl or something like that. So that was also an arrangement. And that's from the Old Testament as well. If you're curious about it, you can.
Hold on, bro. So the Bible got how many testaments and shit is to the Bible? Because the Bible always change the form. I don't trust the shit, bro. It keep changing. How many books you need, bro? If it's the truth, what the fuck you change it for, bro? I'm telling you, man. The Bible is some pimp shit, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
It's a tool. I look at the Bible as a tool for pimping. It's a tool that can be used for pimping, but it's also a tool that can be used to actually guide a person.
Just from the simple fact, bro, there's so many versions of the Bible, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife, there's only one version of her. Like, it was different phases of her, but she grew through them phases biologically. Okay. But now you got a Bible, you got a book that's got all this wisdom, and you want to have all this trust in the shit changing version. You got the version of this you got the simple version, you got the American version, King James version, New Testament. Like, bro, come on, bro. It's too much like that I have to look at and say, this talking about the same thing, but all of these books talking about the same thing in they different versions. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can't really just like trust that stuff, bro.
I mean, like I said, I look at it as a tool. Now, like I said, it can be used for pimping, and I've seen preachers use it for pimping.
They use it.
But I've also seen it used to provide guidance, you know, for people's lives who didn't have any guidance. I just think at some point, a lot of the things that we're taught, some of those things need to be put into question.
More natural things.
Right. So I just think that it's okay to challenge certain things that you were taught, because some people are very good at spinning scripture. They're very good at, using text for malicious purposes and things like that or whatever. So I just think at the end of the day, it's up to us as individuals to challenge certain things if they don't make sense to us.
And bro, I agree. And the thing about it, a lot of people just ain't capable of doing that for themselves. Especially at an early age, bro. When you grew up in a society where your grandma had you in church every day, or you just there for choir practice, you there for Bible study, you there for this, you there for that, and like you don't even have a choice to say, oh, I want to be. And we seen girls who was in high school. Like once they get to high school, they swear they're gonna run away, bro. And bro, we used to love them tight. Bro, if you the preacher kid, I know you like sexually suppressed. Oh, boy, we ain't no homeless, boy. We love that type, bro. Because we know you're an animal. You about to explode, man. You gonna catch that.
So the church ones are the worst ones? Is that what you're saying?
They are the best for wilding out with and the worst to build relationships with.
Okay.
In my perspective, because our church girl, she got these principles and philosophy that she's been teaching through Christianity gonna make her. She's just not gonna see the real world, bro. Now you can't take no girl like that, man, to the strip club with you. There's a lot of women that can go to the strip club with you and still be cool. But a church girl, nah, she gonna see you in the hell before you go inside.
Okay. All right. So what about another form of relationship or marriage in the Bible was a man could be married to a woman, and if he died, she could be married to his brother, and have children with his brother. And things like that, or what you think about that?
That's crazy, bro.
But that was their way of life.
Now, okay, I see it from this aspect. If my brother die, or my brother's wife die, I'm gonna be right there to help support his kids and help they be a backbone for him. Now I ain't gonna be there blowing her back out, bro, and doing that right there. It's
okay,
like,
so wait, cause we talking about, let's take sex out of the equation.
Right.
And still deal with the function of marriage. The function of marriage was she be able to maintain her honor, she'd be able to inherit things, and there would be like a level of social acceptance. When a woman did not bear children and things like that was considered.
Yeah, I feel that.
That was considered shameful.
I feel that.
So, and this is what we get into polygamy, because, like I said, women have generally outnumbered men in society. So, as a woman, at that time, you only had a couple of options.
Right.
Like, if every man had a woman, and after every man has a woman, you still have millions of women left over.
Yeah.
There are only so many options for you.
Right.
So let's talk about those options. You can either join an existing marriage and be taken care of and have children.
Yeah.
And by having children, you automatically are entitled to certain benefits in terms of inheritance and things like that.
Yeah.
You could also be a mistress, or you could be a nun. So you could be completely celibate for the rest of your life. You could be a mistress to men who are already in relationships and in marriages, or you could join that marriage and be taken care of and actually receive inheritances and things like that. As a woman, those were the three options. What would you choose if you were a woman in a situation like that?
And see, I understand why they have certain things, and that's nice. But from my human, having a human choice and a human freedom, I'd rather leave it up to the individual.
Right.
Like, what do you think because she might be so in love with her husband that died, bro, to the point where she just, right now, she don't feel like fucking with nobody.
Okay.
She probably just want to just mourn in her own way because they were so in love.
Right.
Or she had somebody she didn't give a damn about, so he died. She like, oh, hell yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right then, she go get her somebody she really was in love with and go live a happy life. You know what I'm saying? Right. I just think it's up to the individual. Let's leave it up to the individual.
Right.
To what avenue they want to go down. You know what I'm saying? They life. We got to be able to talk and allow people to fuck up on their own, bro.
Right. Okay. So another form of marriage came as a result of rape in the Bible.
Rape?
Yeah. Like this is interesting. Like I said, this is okay. So you talk about a male dominant society, and like I said, for the religious people who actually want to look it up, you can go to Deuteronomy chapter 22 and read verses 28 and 29. I thought it was very interesting. Like, it was very interesting, like, because if a man raped a woman, number one, you got to think about how women were perceived at that time, especially, you know, within the context of their family, right?
Yeah.
So if a man raped a woman, the custom was for him to pay her father for the damages that he caused, because that father, if he was to give his daughter to another person, that person would pay a dowry in order to have her, right? So he would have to make a payment to the father to compensate for the loss. You took my daughter's innocence, you know what I'm saying? And so you had to pay, you had to compensate me for that. All right? And at the same time, part of that compensation was not only money, but you were to actually marry her.
Wow, bro. See, even back, okay, that's business right there in the Bible. Now, see, that contradict on what Jesus said when he went in the temple and dumped over the tables.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He dumped over everything. He said no business in God's temple.
But we're not talking about in the church, though.
But I'm just saying, like,
everyday life.
But it's Bible, though, right? This Bible, though.
Bible.
So this, you know what I mean? This is part of the religion and a part of a way of organizing a community and organizing a culture. Mm-hmm. Religion does that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm just saying, I disagree with anything that's not truly natural and not truly that one person is doing for themselves, like out of passion and, you know what I'm saying, and drive and that type of stuff.
So, well, that's true. Do you think that arrangement has a certain level of accountability in it?
I think it has a place.
If you took that girl's innocence, then
you need to go to jail.
I'm saying, from this standpoint, if you took that girl's innocence and you also cost the family damages, then you held accountable by committing yourself to the very female that you actually raped. There's some accountability in there. I see it.
It is though, but I'm just thinking like, okay, what did they consider rape back in the biblical days? Rape, okay.
You took the box.
Okay, rape might have been,
it.
I knocked it down without getting married to her.
You took it.
I'm just saying that. They might consider rape, because so they ain't get no type of criminal charges or anything, and nothing criminal happened to her for raping a woman back in the day. Besides, you just have to take over or pay her dad money.
I did see a case where a man did do that, and the brothers came back and killed him.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, if it's like that with no criminal, you know what I'm saying,
I guess you deserve to die.
See, I'm thinking they rapists, man. Like, you just hit it without even like being married, man. You just like,
you saw it and you took it. You like what you saw. You forced yourself
without the arrangement of the family.
You took it, right?
Right.
And so you were held accountable by paying for it, for the damages you caused, and marrying it.
Because that happened in the movie Shaka Zulu.
Right.
Shaka Zulu daddy, his dad had sex with the Shaka Zulu mom without them arranging it.
Right.
So the king dad made Shaka Zulu mom, they put him in exile. They put him in exile.
They put who in exile?
Put Shaka Zulu and his mom in exile because they got married without an arrangement.
Right.
But Shaka Zulu grew up and came back and took his throne.
Wow.
Yes, man.
Wow.
And they actually put like his cousin and his uncle on the throne. You know what I'm saying? And Shaka Zulu mom told him later on what happened.
Why that sound like the Lion King, bro?
Dog, listen, bro.
Shaka Simba?
Dog, Shaka Zulu is the Lion King, bro. It's that, bro.
Shaka is Simba, bro.
Dog, Shaka Zulu, dog, one of the best movies, dog.
Uncle took over.
Hey, and it's sad, though. You know why Shaka Zulu and it's sad? Because the white man came and he took in Christ. They took in Christianity. And at first he wasn't doing that.
So what did the Christianity or the ideals of Christianity do?
He told him that Jesus is everything. Okay. Jesus will make everything right, everything is possible, this and that there. And Shaka tried, he tested them a couple times like in war. You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to use them, because they had cannons and guns and shit.
Right.
So, and they definitely get ready to fight this other African tribe. And so Shaka Zulu told him to say, okay, since you believe in Jesus, just go ahead. Since your God got your back like that, you go ahead. Mm-hmm. But the white guys from Britain, they were scared, you know what I'm saying? But they actually went down there and actually warned them because they had cannons and guns and shit with guys that got spears and you know what I'm saying, and shields. And so that worked out, but he didn't understand that what was going on from the white man, bro, it wasn't natural, but he was making it seem like it was magic. Even to the point where he had the ink and he put it in Shaka Zulu's head. You know what I'm saying? He thought like, oh, you made me young again. Like, nah, bro, he just put some dye in your motherfucking head. And so he was actually thinking like, oh, this man got magic, bro.
Wow.
And the shit was sad because at the end of the movie, when Shaka Zulu mama died, you know what I'm saying? He up there putting ink on his fucking mom, bro.
Wow.
Come on, bro.
Wow.
He just putting the ink all on his mom's head. His mom dead, bro. And he just don't know, like, bro.
He was trying to bring her back?
He was trying to bring her back, bro. He was trying to bring her back. And the thing is, everybody in the Zulu culture was saying no. Why are they here? No. He should have stuck to the gun because he was already a mighty king. He had the strongest army in the world.
Wow.
But they came in and weakened him up through religion, bro.
And you know, I was reading about that, bro. They said the Zulu nation was one of the toughest nations in battle. At one point, they were nearly impossible to beat.
Yes.
But think about it. What do? If you really want to defeat them, you got to get inside.
You got to go inside.
And oftentimes you get inside through your own ideologies that you want to push. And usually those are religious ideologies because you're dealing with some spiritual people.
Yeah.
And a little bit of deception is in that as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy. So eventually, they were overtaken. When others couldn't do it physically, they had to find a way to get inside of them.
And that's the best warfare. The best warfare is psychological warfare. Right. The attack on our people is invisible, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And we fooled by telling everybody to go get guns and different stuff like that, bro. Shaka Zulu, they didn't have guns, bro.
They had spears.
They had spears. And
that's our guns.
But bro, bro, that's a different type of warfare when you got shields and spears because that's close combat.
Shout out to the United States Concealed Carry Association.
Man, that's bullshit.
Let's
that bullshit, man. We shouldn't have no guns, man. You got these. You got these, man. Now see, if we dealt with these, hey, our society would be a lot calmer, dog. A lot of cats don't want to get knocked out. But since you got these, you got one of them things on your hip, man, everybody a boss now. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
But man, the biggest thing, just get back on the attacks, like with Shaka Zulu, man, it's just they had the strongest army, but the way that broke them down was religion, bro. And it's the philosophies and the principles that you pick up, right, and that you start living out. It's going to destroy your existence, bro. Right. Straight up and down, bro.
All right. So what about this? This is the crazy one too. Like, if you were a male soldier and you went off into war, and you had what they call prisoners of war, all right. Sometimes soldiers actually had arrangements with female prisoners of war.
Wow.
That was an arranged kind of marriage.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
So we talking about POWs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we get a POW, and you gonna bro? That sound like sex trafficking, bro.
But isn't that like
that's
like Stockholm syndrome? Like falling in love with your captor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a type of relationship.
No, bro. You okay? You got a prisoner of war. Ain't no way that lady is looking at you sexual like that, bro. She's a prisoner of war, bro. She's a captive.
Hold on, wait. Think about it, though. Let's talk about nature.
Yeah.
When you have two lions that's running a pride, and you have another pair of male lions that comes in, they're gonna fight, right? They're gonna fight.
Yeah.
And if the new males defeat the current males, what comes after that is some very gruesome stuff. They kill all the baby boys.
That's the offspring.
That came from the offspring of the ones that were already there.
Yeah.
And then the women actually, after seeing their male children slaughtered by their new dictators or whatever you want to call it, they then turn around and submit to them, and they continue on living.
Isn't
that like the same thing?
No, because that's the wow.
They're still like,
we more logical than.
But we talk about nature. I'm trying to stick with nature.
But still though, bro, we talk about nature, but we are the most logical species, bro. Yeah. We actually can think to ourselves. We can actually like, you know what I'm saying, be conscious of ourselves.
What did she find though? If you were a soldier and y'all just won the war,
bro,
and you seen a little fine little prisoner of war, bro.
Now that's rape, bro. That's rape, bro. A POW, bro, that's sick, dog. That's like going and snatch up a girl out the hood and you take her somewhere, bro, and you to my love me. That's like sex trafficking.
That can be looked at another way too. If your people have already been in a war and they lost, and this woman is not left with men to take care of her, and you decide to marry that woman, aren't you helping her?
Now that's different. That's different now.
Okay.
Now just say, okay, we don't want a war, and she's a part of a country that don't been conquered.
We just destroyed their men.
Yeah. Okay. So now voluntarily we fall in love with each other, like we just get in a relationship.
Right.
I'm talking about we picked her up, she POW, like, you know what I'm saying? And like for me just to say, okay, you my woman, that's like some type of sex trafficking, crazy stuff. Like, nah.
But you keeping her though. You married her.
I wouldn't do that to a person though.
I ain't saying we would, bro. I'm just talking about what happened.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. My point of view with that is barbaric, bro. Like, bro, she's a POW, bro. She fighting you don't take her away from her family. It's like her whole life done changed. The main thing you talking about is giving me some ass and doing all. Oh man, that's crazy, man.
No, I'm getting off the sex part. I'm talking about the part of actually taking her in, marrying her, taking care of her, and things like that. She is without her men. The men have been destroyed.
But if
she's not able to take care of herself, her dad and brother, all them dead, and in order to survive, if she marries this soldier.
But would
like
you?
When she survived.
But would you? Okay. But would you do if she was ugly and she was just busted? Would you still? See what I'm saying? See, either way, attraction and sex is gonna be there. But the thing about it,
okay.
I'm always see the thing about me. I know sex is there in attraction. It's the perversion. It's the perversion that I see in our country, bro. That fucks up so much shit, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, excuse me, if a person a POW. Ain't nothing sexual about that situation to me, bro. Because we at war. She's a prisoner of war. Actually a prisoner, bro, of that. She's not even thinking that way. She probably thinking the way to kill your ass and get escaping.
In the wild, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
In the wild, in nature, it happens all the time.
But hey, in the wild, ain't no logic.
Men fight and take women.
But is it logic in the wild or instinct?
It's natural instinct.
Yeah. Ain't nobody like thinking like,
We deal with nature, right? It's a natural instinct, bro. Like,
ain't nobody talking like, should I do this? No, this is gonna be
okay. So, like, I put it that way. When we were jits,
yeah,
right? Like, let's just say,
yeah,
two dudes like the female, and they fought. Which one you think she gonna go with?
She gonna go with the guy that wins.
She gonna go with the guy that wins.
Typically,
it's the same thing, bro.
I mean, typically. But now, when we got to high school and different stuff, like it didn't go that way. You might get beat the guy up, and she might just feel sorry for him.
Would a Pahokee chick stay with a dude that got beat up fighting?
Nah, because she don't want to be associated. She want to be associated with the champ.
With a winner.
Yeah, with a winner. Everybody want to be. Everybody want to be the champ now.
Okay.
Everybody want to be the champ. You already know everybody want to be the real champ now. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just think as humans, we got more logic behind our reason.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
In the wild, it's just instinct, bro. Like, motherfucker just, hey, I'm just gonna bite your head off to get this.
Wow, that's crazy. Like in the Bible, we talk about Abraham, right?
Yeah.
When I was I have discussion with people about this in the past, and one of the things they talk about is I guess it's a shot against the whole idea of a polygynous type of relationship.
Yeah.
They go back to the book of Genesis and be like, well, God created Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is the justification for being in a monogamous only type of relationship. And because God created Adam and then took Eve out of his rib, and then that's the ordained family that God created. That
is to me that it's like common sense just crushed that for me, bro. So you got one male and female created a whole human race.
Okay.
That's incest, ain't it?
Well, okay. To be fair, can I break the speed limit if there's no speed limit?
No, you can't.
Am I breaking the law if there's no speed limit?
You can't.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you what the average religious or Bible person or Christian would say in a situation like that. They would say there was no law against incest at that time. So if there's no law then there can be no breaking of that law. And they'll say, okay, well, that wasn't a sin because there was no law against it at that time.
And see,
that's how they'll deal with that. I'm just.
But you're right though. So now I can understand why they do the shit they do.
Right.
The pedophilia, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The underage marriage. I mean, all the different stuff that I see. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're telling me that Adam and Eve created the whole human race, bro, logically, bro, in common sense, what I see out of my life, that don't make any sense. Right. Then psychologically, they tell you some shit where they took Eve out of Adam's rib, bro. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is that? See now psychologically, bro, a woman feels like she
inferior.
She feel obligated to submit and just do whatever this guy says.
I see where you're coming
because if it weren't for this man's rib, I wouldn't even be here. Okay. But a man can't give birth to anything, bro.
Wow, you know what? I never thought about like the way you putting it. Like, wouldn't it make more sense for, let's just say, for example, like let's just say God created Eve first.
Yes.
Right? And then God basically created, let's just say, sperm, whatever.
Yeah.
God, it's either one way or the other. Either God created Eve first, and Eve didn't give birth to Adam. But that could be very well possible. A woman actually, because we see examples of creation happening when a being comes out of a woman.
That's the only way.
Not a being coming out of a
man. That's the only way you can get into this existence if a woman gives birth to you.
Right.
So women is pretty much like portals to this world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but you're gonna tell me a story about how you took a woman out of a man's rib, and I'm looking at my reality, and I'm like, nah, bro. It makes
sense for a man to come out of that woman.
Exactly, bro. Because how the chicken come for the egg?
Look at it that way.
How the chicken come for the egg, bro? The chicken can't come for the egg. It gotta be an egg. So who had the egg? Like, okay, I made a post. I say, who created the creator? You know what I'm saying? Right. Because it's like, I feel like life is just infinite and then it's mysterious, and then a bunch of human beings, dog, got these fucking theories and they make them laws.
That's an infinite question. Like,
exactly.
Okay, so if I answer the question of who created the creator, then the question gonna be who created him, and then the question after that can be who created that person.
Right.
And it's gonna go on and on. Like you can't really answer that question.
Yeah.
Like,
see, that's how I see infinity. Like that's why I know with my existence I always exist. I never die. I just transcend. It's like right now, if I die, I'm gonna wake up somewhere else, bro. That's my cosmology. That's my spiritual self. Because I'm like, bro, why would it never be nothing? It's always gonna be something, bro. Right. I'm like, why would we just die and be in the dark? Or why would we die and go to a fiery hell and burn and shit? Like, come on, bro.
Right. You know what baffled me, man, was the fact that, like, you know, you had Adam and Eve, and let's just say we stick with the text and say Eve came out of Adam, and then they had, Eve came out of Adam's rib, and then they had Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel, and then God places this mark on Cain, and Cain started talking about what the people of the earth, how the people of the earth would see him. Everybody that see him will want to kill him. And then next thing you know, Cain ended up with a wife somewhere in the city, which is full of people.
See what I'm saying?
Like, it's so that part right there, I still haven't kind of understood. Like, how is it that, you know, you have these original people or this original family, and then all of a sudden, Cain got a wife, which I'm assuming was his sister at some point. But then, like, he had a whole city and with inhabitants in it, like people or inhabitants, like there were people there. So how is it that, you know, all of this was created?
Yeah.
You have a nuclear family, and all of a sudden people just pop up out of nowhere, and Cain got a whole group of people that he can go chill with somewhere.
See that's what I'm saying. Okay, let's go back to when they say God made, we making man in our image. It said that, right?
It said our image, yeah.
Our, so our is plural.
Plural.
Who the fuck is our? Okay. Because we talking about God, but right there they said we gonna make man in our image.
Yeah.
See, there's so many contradictions, bro. That's why I know it's pimp shit. Pimp shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Pimps are very contradictory, bro. But they have some hoes, bro, who don't know no better. And them hoes need some guidance. Yeah. You tell them hoes anything. You know, go for it. You know what I'm saying? But if you get a real solid woman or a solid man, they from the inside out, they pure, they know themselves, and it's hard to, you can't convert them to shit.
Right.
You can only partner up with them or cooperate with them and things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when I have a conversation with somebody about, they say, well, the nuclear family or the monogamous, or God made Adam and Eve,
Yeah.
Male and female or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like if you use that as a justification for monogamous only relationships via your religion, then I have to ask the question of, I have to go to Noah's Ark, because Noah's Ark, animals were brought in male and female, right? So if you had a tiger, you had a male tiger and you had a female tiger.
Yeah.
Okay. You had other male and female species of animals that once off the ark, they went back to kind of doing what they were programmed to do.
Yeah.
Which they're still doing today, right? So now here's my question.
Yeah.
Just like Adam and Eve,
Yeah.
there was one species of this animal, there was a male and female version of these particular animals.
Yeah.
And then they came off the ark and went back to their normal lives, and some of them were polygamous. You know what I'm saying? And some of them had a different, or they were programmed to have different organizational structures.
Yeah.
So even though you had male and female animals, when they got out the ark, based on what they were programmed to do, they all lived different types of relationships.
Right.
It wasn't like those male and female animals said, okay, we're going to be monogamous. They continued to do what they were programmed to do.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it to this day.
Yeah.
So justifying monogamy only, I think that using the Adam and Eve story, like I said, that can easily be dealt with by using the story of Noah. Like, different species of animals throughout the world live in all different types of ways. Sometimes, in some species, that the father meet up with the mama, they get her pregnant, and then they dip. You don't see them no more, and the mama raise the kids on her own.
Okay.
Don't we see that?
Okay.
Don't we have that kind of situation?
We do. But I want to deal with the ark itself. So, every species of animal, how big was the ark, bro? Like, did we have zookeepers? Did we have like specialized? Because it's so much natural things, natural questions I have for the Bible that deserve an explanation.
Cause you had to take giraffes and everything on them, right?
And then they have to behave.
Yeah.
Then they have to behave. Okay, now they defecating on them. They shitting. They doing everything on them.
So you gotta have the food. You gotta have.
So where you putting the waste at? Where the waste going for the humans? Cause I heard some crazy crap on the ark, man, between Noah and his sons. I don't know, I heard it somewhere. Them dudes in New York, I listened to, man. Yeah, man, I don't know if it's true or not.
Oh, that was after they got off the ark.
They say he was naked, bro, or something, bro. What's up with all that, bro?
Who was it? Was it say uncovered his father's nakedness or something like that or whatever?
Yeah, man, I'm like, what's up with this,
I heard
man?
different interpretations of that.
Okay.
Some people say he uncovering his father's nakedness was actually basically having sex with his father's wife. Which
his mom?
His
It get wild, bro. It get wild.
And then some people say uncovering his father's nakedness was him actually doing something with his own dad.
Yeah. Because the dudes, you know what I'm saying, I'm listening to the dudes talk, and they breaking it down. They going through, they breaking it down just logically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They picking at it and looking at all the possibilities of it. And a lot of shit just don't make sense. It get weird, bro. Yeah. The story of Jesus get weird. And I talk about this all the time. Right. Because there's too many missing spots in his life. To the point where I feel like those are some serious areas that people can learn from. Right. But they making Jesus, this Jesus figure, just perfect. I don't get out with that, but I do see myself in him as a virtuous guy. I see that part of me, but I also got a dark side. Right. I got a shadow side to myself that I have to express, and that my shadow side actually is me too. Okay. So that's where yin and yang come in at. Right. Because I got my light side and my dark side. I had to even both. Because if you don't pay attention to the dark side, bro. You're gonna turn into like a serial killer or some shit.
So do you think that in the state that our people are in right now, do you think that we need to actually start considering different actually going back to different forms of relationships as a function, not as like guys just having a bunch of women.
Yeah.
But like Brother Polite.
Yeah.
Brother Polite has a situation. He's in. He has a polygynous marriage.
Yeah,
I think he got like 4 wives or something like that.
Ooh.
And to hear him explain the system that they have, I thought it was phenomenal.
It was.
It was. I think that you have to be a special type of guy, and you have to be with certain types of women,
right,
to understand and to be able to do that. And honestly, bro, I don't think the average man is prepared for more than one woman.
I agree. I agree, because we got a lot of guys that's of age, but they just not, their spirit is not there.
Right.
So they not men spiritually, but they so you of age, but a lot of guys are little boys mentally, man.
Yeah. Okay.
And especially as far as like having sex and making love, like guys is little boys, they see every woman as pretty like a porno.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And see, with me, I don't see women as no damn porno, because I see my mom, I see my sisters. Right. You know what I'm saying? I see love. So, like, what intrigued me so much about Polite situation was hearing his wives talk about him.
Right.
Like, they actually took turns on saying how great he was, and they meant that shit. Yep. And I say, damn. So with that right there, it showed me what type of man this guy is. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And then with the sexual thing, we just need to drop that and just say that shit ain't none of our business. Even with religion. Right. If we dealing with politics and saying what's best for the neighborhood, that type of stuff, for the community, for the masses, we gotta leave religion at the door. Right. So, but now that ideology won't seep into what's best for everybody as a whole. Right. See, once you go to bringing in religion, so now you're gonna just touch on one group of people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we go wrong. I know we go wrong right there, man. Right now, we just need to just stop worrying about, or just don't worry about people's lives that much. It's like we still can have fun, like reality show, but we want to know too much about the person, sexual orientation, this and that there, what type of food they eat, they're vegan, and this and that there. It's just too much. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I think that, like, I think that the different types of relationships, I think they could work only if we work on ourselves. Because in order to, okay, so for polygamy, those women would have to really look at each other as sisters. They have to have a real sisterhood.
Sister wives.
In order to pull something like that off. Wow. And in our society, as far as our people go, you really haven't seen much of a sisterhood even. So, like, when I listened to what Umar said about it, he actually did say that we're not mature enough. Even though the concept is great,
I agree.
We're not mature enough.
I agree.
To be in those types of relationships as a people. We need to work on ourselves.
I agree.
Men need to step up to the plate, and also our women as well. So we both have work to do. It's not it's y'all fault, or it's our fault. We all have work to do on ourselves in terms of loving ourselves. But he said more particularly, he said our women need to, because our women compete with each other so much, man. It's like
the men too.
We need a sisterhood rebuilt, and we need a brotherhood rebuilt, and then and only then, can we actually start for the good of our people, actually start discussing different forms of marriage.
Now see, I like that. Now see, I think the women do better with polygamy than the men.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because the male ego is destructive, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And in America right now, both genders have that ego. And then you have homosexuals now too. You know what I'm saying? They have their community and they have their rights. You know what I'm saying? Right. So the thing I feel about that, man, is we have to just like stop like putting that on the front street about our society. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because we know sex and love, that's private, bro. Okay. So we digging too deep, and once we find out that this person like this sort of taste of sex, we judge that person just off that, and like, you know what I'm saying, and put that person in the box. It's like the only way we can do it is just not put attention on it, bro.
Right. But at the same time, if you're gonna be in a polygamous relationship, it can't be a secret either, because your children have to go to school. Yeah. Everybody needs to know that, like.
Really?
Like, bro, when I look at the structure of it, regardless of whose children, who the children came from, they're all perceived as moms. You know what I'm saying? So we have to, like, think about that type of structure.
Yeah.
And what even the children will have to deal with in a society that does not accept what they do, but you still have to openly be who you are. Like,
yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like, have no shame in being, you know, in that type of relationship.
Cause that's a type. That's almost like racism, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you got a polygamous, family over here. They live on your block.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So nobody treat that family no different than the family that's monogamous and got. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Got the traditional home.
True.
But what's gonna happen? Those kids that's in the polygamous household, they gonna get picked on and poked at by adults and kids.
Right. In a society that does not accept what they do.
In American society.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get frowned upon. But just say, if we're not aware of that in our society, or we're not talking about people's sex, that won't be an issue.
Okay.
Like with weed, like with marijuana, like when I'm in the Canada, that's not an issue up there, man. Because you know what I mean? You can do it, it's free.
Okay. So I put it this way, man. Just a quick recap. Polygamy is having multiple women, and polyandry is actually a woman having multiple men. There are always functions to what people did back in the day. It wasn't just pimping. Like I said, there are three main reasons for polygamy. Was a scarcity of men. You also had to have men who were healthy, and women also had to have certain levels of protection.
Yeah.
And I think if a person is going to live that type of lifestyle, I can understand why people want to, basically have those protections for themselves, and it actually be a construct that women actually created to basically help take care of other women as well.
Yeah, I can see that, bro. I can see that. And with me, just to wrap it up, with me, it's like love, bro. And now you looking for passion, you looking for chemistry, and if that takes you into a polygamous relationship, man, with multiple women, so be it. Yeah. If your passion and your drive take you to a monogamous relationship, man, so be it. So I think it's up on the individual, bro. You know what I mean? Voodoo King out of D, baby.
Derek Boldin. Peace.